All right, welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 261, Black Car Talk. Here are my co-facilitators, Paul Bryant and Complex Design. Uh,
Yo,
hey, what's going on, bro? We just had an excellent hangout over on, here, but we just had the excellent economics hangout discovering China and Africa, China's investments in Africa. So if you have not check that out in your spare time. Give it a thumbs up as well. But tonight, man, we're gonna focus on whip appeal. You know, the new Corvette C8, and actually, let's take a look at it, man, because go to their website. I just saw a video this morning of somebody putting their order down and actually receiving it off the truck.
and the price starts at 50K, right?
It's supposed to be 59K. 59K.
Okay.
So did that guy actually spec it out, or did he just
Yeah, he
put?
spec'd it out already.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. He has
So
all. He has the competition seats, which are GT2. If there was a Porsche equivalent, it would be the GT2 seats.
nice.
Yeah, he made out well. He put $2,000 down on it, man, and he's in like some.
Wait, 2K? That's it?
Yeah, Corvettes aren't that expensive to take, and they're fairly cheap for what you're getting. Um, so here it is right here. Um, we talked about this before offline, but I'll make my statements public. This car, for what it is going to demolish European performance vehicles. Before the Corvette was front engine, people would say it handled like crap. It was only good in a straight line. Okay, that was probably true for like the C6 and the C5. Okay, fine, we'll give you that. But the C7 was a monster. Um, and now you take that same performance and you put the engine in the back and you make it a mid-engine car. This is nuts. This is Porsche has no answer to this at that same price point. BMW, you can forget about them. Ferrari, they are shaking in their boots because the closest Ferrari that they have that would be remotely close to it would be like a 488 base model, and that goes for over 150K, um, if not 200K for a 488 base model. Then you factor in McLaren. Um, McLaren fairly close. You can get a 570S with a track pack for like 160 at best. Um, Lamborghini, give or take, a base model Lamborghini would probably run you around 200K. A Audi R8 is going to cost you 160 out the gate. Acura's NSX, no call, no show. Can't sell the car. Just sitting on lots. Nobody really wants it. Um, and then you could throw the Lotus in there as well. The Lotus is a bit of a different sort of beast, although the purposes are the same. It's kind of a different model of a vehicle. You buy a Lotus because you want a Lotus, not because it does something better. Um, Let me see who else would be in the running for this. I don't know if there's any competition. Am I missing anything, Paul Bryant?
Absolutely not.
Mm, maybe a GTR. I would say the GTR is probably the vehicle that's closest in the price range that would serve as competition to this car. But you're talking about two completely different market segments. You know, those who are in the market for a turbocharged four-wheel drive sports car, and somebody who prefers like a mid-engine configuration. I mean, you don't have a lot of people who really bounce between the two. You know, you're either going to prefer one over the other.
Well, the thing is, somebody in the chat said 4GT. Ford GT, $500,000, man. That's not even
No,
remotely close.
Ford, yeah, the GT done priced itself. The Ford priced their sports car entry way out of the market segment.
No, no, no. That's a street legal track car. That's not something that you would actually make a comparison to. But in terms of Porsche, the only thing Porsche has in comparison is a Porsche Cayman, a Cayman and a Boxster.
Dude,
Cut it out, Mike.
dude.
I'm sorry, it was a German enunciation that caught me off guard.
Yeah, right.
Bratwurst, sorry. Guten Tag, brother. Guten Tag.
Guten Abend.
Oh yeah. This I've never been a big fan of Corvettes. I mean, I like Corvettes, but I would probably never spend my money on the previous generations. Maybe the C7 is something I had my eye on, especially the Z06. I was a big fan of that in blue. Love those cars. But this car is on another level of something I haven't seen in a long time. Even the Ford Mustang GT. Why would I want to spend 85K on a Shelby, on a Snake, when I can have this for 10,000 less? Can you make an argument for any other vehicle, Paul Bryant?
Okay, well, see, first off, here is the thing, right? People who traditionally buy the Vet, they don't cross shop Porsche, they don't cross shop AMG, they don't cross shop McLaren or Lotus. They, for the most part, they cross shop uh, Mustangs, or Camaros, or things like that. So now, what you have here, according to GM, you have Porsche 911 GT3 RS Performance, R8 Performance at that price point. That's unheard of. You're talking Lambo Huracan, what, maybe even a Ventador performance if these numbers are to be believed. So now we're talking $200,000 to $500,000 cars, the same performance out of a $60,000 Vet. That's unheard of. So clearly, to me, Chevy is trying to go after a market that has literally been closer. Period. So now, again, if you're in the market for something like this, why the hell would you want to look at a $200,000 McLaren or even a $100,000 Shelby GT350 or what a 150 Shelby GT500 KR when you can have the same performance in a $60,000 Vet? And mind you, this is the entry level model. This is the entry level model. We don't even know what the ZR1 is going to look.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, this is the entry level model. I mean, you're just talking about one platform that can be bought at 60 and can be sold at probably as high as $750,000 if we start looking at some of the like the GTE applications, like, right, those are going to be the spec Corvettes that are going to run in like the WEC
Right,
and,
exactly.
and stuff like that. Now those cars are going to be easily 500,000,
Right.
and it's going to be the same platform.
And those are the cars that would compete against that Ford GT. So whoever said that in the chat, listen.
Right. It's going to be like, yeah, the GTE variants are going to is what's going to compete against the Ford GTs. But I mean, again, you're talking about a car that can be had at the base level for 60K.
Exactly. And also, for whoever said that in the chat, the Ford GT is road legal for homologation purposes. For that class that car races in, there has to be road legal versions. That's the only reason that car is road legal. That is a track car. So don't confuse that car with this Vet.
Yeah, no, this is a straight up production car. Other cars are produced in limited numbers for FIA homologation.
Right. Now, with all of that said, with all of that said, uh, personally, as as I told Mike off air 3 or 4 days ago, maybe a week ago. I don't remember. I take a wait and see attitude. I want to see reviewers get this car in their hands. I want to see actual lap times at the ring. I want to see top speed. I want to see the fit and finish, the panel gaps, the quality of the materials. Everything that GMs are known for doing horribly wrong, for eating alternators and fuel pumps and sending units and starter motors. How will the car do then? That's what I want to see. So, has GM finally cracked that code that the Germans own, which is the best mechanical engineers on earth? Now, not saying that they can't, but if they have, then then I will agree with Mike that this car is an absolute game changer. Right now, I'm not saying it's not. All I'm saying is my personal attitude is wait and see.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Paul. The build quality on anything GM has always been questionable, especially on the Corvettes, man. I know the C6 and the C5 were awful cars, man, to look
Oh,
at.
dude, cooling issues. Those cars had massive cooling issues.
Yeah, yeah, you couldn't track them for more than one or two laps, and then they go completely puts on you. So, um, which is interesting because it's being noted as a track weapon. It can't even stay on the track for more than few laps. Can't even stay on for the checkered flag. But
Well, no, I would say that that there's two ways to look at that. One, when you get to like the higher levels of motorsport, I mean, these dudes are basically they were engineering their solutions. They were running like auxiliary cooling units. Running like a ice can and stuff like that, to negate those deficiencies in the initial engineering of the car. I mean, because all you're talking about there is not really engineering enough air gaps in the paneling of the car to allow for sufficient airflow to come through and keep everything cool. So you engineer your solution to that. That thing, I'm sorry, man. Those the C6s, the C7s, man, those things were beasts on the track.
Oh yeah,
Especially out at Le Mans and shit like that. Over in Europe, man, Corvettes they kick a lot of ass.
you're right. You're right. The C6 and the C7 owned Le Mans in their class, and in the other rounds of the WEC in their class, the C6 and the C7, the factory racing vets, the Corvette R, absolute monster on the track, 100%. But that's racing. That's racing. So we have to look at the car for every application that it's being sold at. So that's street, and that's casual tracking, and then pro racing. So when it comes to casual tracking the car, the C6 and the C7 had horrible, horrible cooling. As I said, you couldn't track the cars. Now you look at the McLaren Senna, look at the McLaren 720, and look at the what is it? Well, those two cars, they have massive vents all along. In fact, even mesh all along the full width of the back end of the car. Same thing with Ferrari. Same thing with the Audi R8. This car, it doesn't seem like it has that same full width mesh. So I'm still unsure as to the cooling of this car. And one last thing, I'll leave off with this. If you've been watching videos, which I have, there are two former GM engineers. Now, granted, they're former, so it could be, sour grapes, whatever. They both said the same thing. They have serious questions about the cooling. So we'll see. That's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking the car. I'm for right now. I'm taking a wait and see attitude.
Yeah, I would say though that those issues will have probably been largely addressed given the fact that they completely changed the configuration of the car. Right, it's mid-engine now. You see, so I would imagine that they wouldn't redesign a car for it to be a mid-engine configuration and then still leave the question mark or that hamstring issue of the previous model when it was in a different configuration, cooling. You know, I would even posit to say that maybe even a move to a mid-engine configuration was largely due to addressing certain issues with the car, just based on the power plant, you know, and the overall design and aesthetic of what they're going for. And maybe to improve efficiencies, they actually had to go to a mid-engine configuration. I mean, a lot of cars in the same class have it, you know, so I think they may have just followed suit, and by doing so, they may have actually solved their cooling problem.
Well, funny you say that because I was watching one of the official Chevy videos, and I don't remember if it was the chief R&D engineer or the chief of the entire project. He said when he pitched it to the GM brass, he told them that listen, we've pushed the limit of what we can do with this car as far as performance with
Yep.
with it being a front end nose heavy car. We have to make the next one mid engine. We can't do anything else with it. So he said the 80, 85 to 90% of the choice to make this car a mid engine had to do with performance. They could not call themselves a serious global sports car if the car was not on the same level as the Europeans. Plain and simple.
Yeah, that Porsche GT4, the Cayman GT4, is going to be. I mean, all the reviews I'm looking at this morning. I looked at Carfection. You know, they did an excellent first take on it on the track. That thing is on another level. It could walk a GT3 pretty easily. And that's hard to do if you're Porsche. Um,
Ouch.
you have to keep in mind that they took a modified 911 engine and shoved it into the back of this little compartment in
Cayman.
the back of the
Yeah,
Cayman.
they basically put it in the Cayman. Yeah,
Yeah, and they
yeah.
modified it all up too.
Right.
And
What's
a
good,
lighter
Lex?
car, bigger engine, and much lighter car. Yeah. Peace to the chat. What's going on, guys?
What's going, fam?
Good evening, bro.
Hey,
How are
yeah, man. Hey, man. This is definitely my wheelhouse here. Yeah, this C8, man. This is a game changer, man. I think they've embarrassed a lot of companies with this car, man. Like what I'm seeing, stat wise for this car, man. The performance of this car. I mean, the looks are spectacular. I've had a chance to drive Audi R8 D10 at the track, and
Ooh.
I've gotten that up to probably about 140 in the straights.
you? Show off.
Yeah.
What's your local track, Triple X?
The Pontiac M1 track in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm in Detroit, so I'm in Detroit. So yeah, they had an Audi test ride event out there, and I got a chance to check it out. I also drove the TTRS, which is pretty quick too.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the smaller one. And they had a supercar track day out there too, which is about $1,000, and you get a chance to drive like all of them: the Audi, the Porsche, the Lamborghini Performante Huracan, 488 Spider, like all of them, man. Porsche GT3, Porsche Turbo 911. But I didn't get a chance to check that out. But yeah, this car, man. I mean, the performance. This car has a performance of a $300,000 supercar, man, for like a $65,000 car. This is insane.
I mean, the McLaren 720s is actually. I mean, that's considerably fast. I mean, I think I think Paul Bryant was in one, you know, not too long ago. I was in one. I was in one last year, and that thing was a monster. Then I can only imagine that was on. That was just a regular, the base model. They have a track pack for that as well. So
yeah, that's a tremendous car too, man. They're at that level. They're all pretty much pure cars, man. Like the the Porsche, the GT3, the Turbo, the GT2. You know, the McLaren, the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, they all peer cars at that level. And I always, the Vet at that point was a level below, but it's gotten into supercar status at this point now, even the base car pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to hog the floor. Go ahead.
The McLaren 720S, yeah, I test drove it. You know, I wanted to see it, to look at it. I cannot afford a $300,000 car. Not even close.
Make it work, Paul. Make it work.
Not
make it happen, Paul.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, all you gotta do is just rob Peter to pay yourself.
No. Ramen noodles and water for the rest of the year. That's it. You'll lose a lot of weight, but you'll be happy as hell.
You might become diabetic. You'll lose a lot of weight. Yeah, but you'll have the car.
No, absolutely not.
Bundles of weave, sell it.
No.
Too funny.
Get it done, Paul. Get it done.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Travel and a comfortable, happy lifestyle are much more important to me than owning a $300,000 car. I can't listen.
Yeah. How did they say the price?
You and your priorities.
Yeah.
Setting standards. Yeah. How dare I set standards?
Mm-hmm.
But Salchi just jumped on, so bro, please join the conference.
Hey, what's going on, Salchi?
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on, fam? What's your take? What's your take on this? You don't seem like you believe it.
We'll see, man. That's all I gotta say. I got a neighbor. He has the previous Corvette, all souped up, everything, quad, everything. But this one, I'm just like, I'm a big German guy. So I'm just like,
Same here. Listen, I worship at the German altar.
So are you a Porsche or BMW guy?
Own BMW, but I'm a Porsche guy, man.
Okay.
Through 911 Turbo S.
Yeah,
man. I've done some stupid things in my 20s, so with cars.
Let me say, man, Stuttgart, the ground is trembling right now. There's an American vehicle in their backyard, and they don't know what to do. What are they going to do? Lower the price on the Cayman to what? 40 grand?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Hell no.
No.
Yeah. How much is that new Cayman GT4 starting at? About 100?
Oh man, that's at least it's gonna be marked up. I saw it marked up to at least 140.
Oh, yeah, because it's outperforming the GT3 from what I've been hearing.
Wait. What did you just say?
They marked up the price on the GT4 already.
No, that part I heard. Triple S, did I just hear you say that car is outperforming the GT3 RS?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It was on the Nürburgring. It was at the Nürburgring a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They had it all in the Parisian cow livery, and they were testing suspension and aero bits. And that was when I kind of turned my head to it. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow, dude, for a mid-engine configuration, it still looks very much like a Corvette. So I don't know, man. I think they got a sleeper on their hands.
Yeah. Paul. I mean, the Cayman chassis is a smaller, lighter, nimbler chassis, man. And then when you get that fat 911 torquey engine in there.
Oh yes.
Yeah, man. It's she gonna do the dance. That's for sure.
Yeah, the base Cayman. Every reviewer for the past 10 years has said the Cayman handles better than the 911. It just doesn't have the power. If Porsche ever put the 911 turbo motor into the Cayman would blow the 911 turbo's doors off.
Yeah.
It has to. It's mid-engine. I mean, you're changing the weight distribution. Right. So, it makes sense.
Yeah, the weight distribution is a lot better, and it came in the Boxer is mid-engine, and the 911 is just rear engine. It's at the tail.
Don't forget that they've modified that Cayman too. So it has fatter tires in the back,
Yep.
different suspension all the way around, different steering rack, um, a titanium exhaust system I think has been added to it, so it's lighter.
I think the front tires are like 265s or 270, something ridiculous. Those
Oh
are
wow!
front tires.
Damn, the fronts.
That's
My rear
insane.
Yeah,
tires are
holy smokes!
265.
How do you steer that?
I do. It's just the Germans, man. It just I don't know, man. It's
You gotta love them.
wizardry. I
They're
don't know
freaking
how they do
wizards.
it.
They're
Yep.
wizards.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. So my position on this, man. Let's kind of go through the picks for a second. I mean, you got the side profile. What do you guys think about that side profile?
Side and
sexy than
front
a month.
or side and
I mean,
front are good.
sorry, it's real sexy. Pardon my language.
Like I said, man, it keeps its Corvette lines, man. That's what I like about it. It really does keep the Corvette. I'm sorry if it's a little loud. I'm in the car. It keeps the Corvette lines, man. I don't. I see it. I just see a new version of it, but you can look at it, and it could. If you didn't know that it was mid-engine, you could look at it and think that it was still front engine in a lot of ways. So the side profile of it, it looks all of like the ducting and all the airflow channels that you see engineered into the side panels is basically just to feed air into the because the engine's right there in the middle of the car. So it's now I would assume that the radiators are actually going to sit right off to the sides.
No, the radiator is
Right.
actually in front.
Are they still keeping it in front? Okay.
Yeah, they
So
moved.
but the front of the car also has more open channels in the front too, from what I noticed.
All right.
Yeah,
Personally,
that's a good point, Ulysses. Very good point, Complex.
yeah. Personally, maybe it's my German bias, but I'm not overly impressed with the styling. When I look at it, I see Acura NSX. I see
Yeah, I do too.
McLaren 720. I see Chevy Camaro. I even see a hint of Ferrari 488.
Yeah,
I like the heat exchangers up in the front. The two side grills have heat exchangers. The side scoops, which are the engine air intakes, I
Yeah.
don't like them. Personally, I think they're too big.
They're too
I
big,
don't
yeah.
like how they extend over into the door. The rear wing, for me, is horrible. The back end of this car looks like a Chevy Camaro with a sunken wing in the middle. But again, styling is subjective, but I do like the fact that um, Chevy has the engine is clearly exposed through the top glass. That I
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So that's my take on the exterior styling. To me, it's generic, derivative, and bland.
But it's
King
but it's
Damier.
different. But it's different for a Corvette, though.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
oh
sorry. I'm
yeah.
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right.
No, no. I was just gonna say that there's only so many ways you can go with a mid engine design without stealing some of the characteristics from everyone else.
yeah.
Everyone pretty much looks like each other now. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, most of these cars are biracial if they had any ethnicity. Um, King King Damiente in the chat says, "I see Lotus." That's interesting because Paul Bryan and I were talking about this earlier in the week. Lotus has always worked with GM on suspension tuning
Suspension. Yeah.
on their cars. So and Lotus already has a whole division that is dedicated to third party outsourcing for suspension and vehicle chassis dynamics for a lot of companies, including Toyota and
GTR.
quite
Right.
for
The GTR.
on the Nissan, yeah. So yeah,
Yep.
so they've been doing this for a long time in their realm of the industry. But so if you see anything that's Lotus next to it or resembling it, it's a good hutch that yeah, Lotus has some input on what to do with that car.
Yeah.
But if I'm Lotus, man, and I'm Geely, I'm probably shaking in my boots too, because how do I justify selling a Lotus at $100,000 when there's a Corvette that's mid-engine now that's gonna walk all over it? I would have to figure out a way to lower the cost of that new hypercar, the electric car that they just put out, the Evija. We'll probably go over that in a couple minutes, but I definitely want to spend some time looking at the profile of this.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at a Corvette, when you think of Corvette, I mean, and you think of a Lotus, or if you think of a, even like even a Porsche Turbo S, I mean, you're literally looking at three different markets, man. Like, people who are buying those higher end cars, they're really not looking at a Corvette.
Well,
I
that's
don't know anybody.
Well, I was gonna say, man, I think a lot of what you're seeing has to do. There's a number of things that's going on with this, right? Because one, GM, if it's gonna look, this is gonna be one of the few cars that it's producing, right? So
Yeah.
this one platform, they're gonna have to be able to maximize the profitability of this platform. That's why we were just a little while ago, we were saying, look, this car can be bought at, it can be bought at 60 grand, or it could be bought at well over $500,000. That's off of the same platform. Now
Yeah.
the second thing too is we also have we also have new rules with regards to the FIA, the sports car and World Endurance Challenge classes, right? So what they're going to be doing now is they're going to be essentially combining like your supercar and now they're introducing hypercars into the picture. And all of these cars are going to be running just basically in maybe two different subcategories, but in the same like series and stuff like that. See, so now all of a sudden, the Corvette is in the same realm or in the same peer group of all the cars we've been discussing, and it's coming in at least a good 80K. You know, depending on how we're looking at this, it's coming in at a good 70 to 80K below market price on all these other cars. But
Yeah.
on track, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it running against these same cars.
It was always cheaper to buy a
Yeah.
Corvette. But the problem with the Corvette previous generations, C4, C5, C6, is that the handling was so terrible it could only go in a straight line. So it really wasn't competitive in those areas. But Dr. Phoenix in the chat, shout out to Dr. Phoenix. He says personally I'm a GTR fan. I can dig it, man, but I'm just not interested in Sony PlayStation on four wheels.
Facts. Facts.
God.
Oh, no,
listen,
that was savage, Mike.
But he's right though.
You're right,
though.
right.
He's right.
I'll give him that.
The
But you go back to
GTR is an absolute monster. It is a savage beast. But bro, it's hideous. Bro, first of all, to me personally,
so is the Bentley Continental GT3, but god damn it, it is a beast on track.
But listen, the R34 Skyline to me is the most beautiful machine that ever came from the land of the rising sun.
Yep.
The R35,
yeah, I love the R34
and the 33. Everybody sleeps on the 33. 33 was good too.
33
Godzilla.
was cool. 33 was cool. It's one of the great.
It was okay. But
the RB engine wasn't as good as the R34. I'll give him that. But you can't. I mean, the R33 was right behind it.
The 34 was definitely Nissan's best car, man.
Bro, that is the most beautiful car to ever come out from Japan. The R34 Skyline, the RB26 Det motor, amazing. But the Skyline. The GTR, the R35, the GTR, to me, is a hideous, ugly beast. It is a freaking combat boot of a car. I respect the performance. I respect what it does on track, but it's hideous looking, absolutely hideous. So, one other thing. Shout out again to Dr. Phoenix in the chat. He asked the question, what does the panel think of the old pushrod design of the engine? Because I have read some complaints concerning the crudeness of the pushrod design. Well, you see, the thing about the pushrod design, America at this point is pretty much the last bastion of the pushrod engine, especially the V8. But there's less reciprocating parts, there's less mechanical parts, and it is a very solid motor. You know, it's proven, and it works, and it's smooth. So you get the same performance from a push rod as you do from a double overhead cam motor. Now, before anyone jumps down my throat, when it comes to higher revs at higher RPMs, push rods cannot keep up. So if you're using the American style of the cross plane crankshaft plus the push rod, so you know that motor is not going to rev high, but it is going to have a lot of torque down low, and it's going to be smooth, and it's also going to be easy to maintain. So now the Europeans, they use the flat plane crank, and that works very well with the balance shafts, and it works with the double overhead cam design. They rev high. Now you have to keep them in the power band all the time to make power, but they rev higher. So it's a trade-off. Which one do you want more? Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but push rods are old technology. It's yesterday. It's a rotary phone compared to a smartphone, but you know what? It works. So that's why the Americans still use it.
Wait a second. Stop the presses. King Damiente in the chat says, personally, I get a Civic Type R before this new Corvette.
Whoa.
What?
Blasphemy.
Whoa.
I'm gonna throw up in my mouth.
Non-cipher,
Sorry,
God.
man.
Non-cipher.
Much respect to the Hondas and the Honda engines,
What
but
are you talking about?
Nah, you
Hey,
can't
King,
compare
what
that.
type of car do you drive, man? I'm curious.
Wait, time out.
King Damiente probably rides a bird scooter or something like that. But but what I'm saying here,
but handling is practical. Are you talking? Are you kidding me?
Keep in mind, King Damiente is a wrencher too, man. He wrenches, man, on his spare time. He drives a Crown Vic, an old police car with the same spotlight on it, looking for brothers. But King Dr. Phoenix said something in the chat, man. I want to point out. He said, I see quite a bit of Chevy Camaro, especially the back. So we're looking at the back right now.
Me too. Totally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like blown
clear
out,
as day,
stretched out, clearly.
And personally, I don't like it because on the Camaro, it's flat across the back. This thing is sunken in. It sinks in the middle, and to me, that's horrible.
Yeah, it should have just been up and straight instead of sinking in. I agree.
Or what about, God forbid, they put that ugly C7 ZR1 rear wing on it? Anything besides this monstrosity.
Do you like the big wings on the Porsches?
Dude, what's not to like about the GT3 RS and the Widowmaker, the GT2 RS?
You put your coffee and your bagel on there.
My goodness, man. Yeah, Porsche can do no wrong, huh?
No,
bro. I told you, I worship at the German altar of speed, my friend.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
All right, so we've agreed that it looks like a Camaro in the rear.
Yeah, man.
I like the window so you can see the motor though. That's usually a feature of like really expensive cars.
Okay, so now we're in the trunk, or at least the rear trunk. And you can fit a set of golf clubs back there. Good move on GM for that. Jay Leno likes to golf, so if he thumbs it up, then it's good. But it's also a T-top, right? So to take the T-top off and you can pop it inside the rear trunk and it's hidden away. I think that's dope. I think that's a one-up on, because that competes, right? That kind of balances it between Cayman, Boxster, right? So people buy the Boxster because the Cayman didn't have a sunroof, right? So they get the convertible aspect out of it. But in this, man, you get the best of both worlds. I'm not that big of a fan of a T-top personally, but I do have.
Time out, Mike. Excuse me. I really got to go back to that comment. The Civic Type R is the ugliest thing I've seen in 30 years. I can't think of anything. You know what? Somebody would have to pull out the old Pontiac Aztec to show me
Oh
something
God.
more uglier than the current Honda Civic Type R.
Well,
That thing hurts my
Wow.
eyes.
yeah, but you have to keep in mind that King Damiente is a millennial, and he likes,
Oh.
he's still in his Fast and Furious stages in life. So,
Oh, okay.
um,
He was just
Yeah.
trolling, man. He's just trolling.
no,
Stickers
he like
add 10 horsepower.
no, he's in his boy racer phase. So, um, I can see the justification for him choosing the Civic.
Yeah, well, even Wacky World just said it.
Nah, I don't think so. I think if given the chance, he'll take that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Civic, but it's front wheel drive, and it doesn't. It's too little, too late for Honda. Because Volkswagen already has the crown with the Golf R, and Subaru has the crown with the STI Impreza.
Yeah,
So
I like the Abarth better. The 500 Abarth better than the Civic Type R personally, but that's just me.
That is a sexy beast too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's my daily driver.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
all right,
My
let's go to I think we looked at the front already. Um, it's too many lines in the front for me personally. There's way too many lines, too much going on. It's too busy. I do like the lights, but the hood, man, there's way too many creases and swoops and dangles and dips and stuff like that. It's not smooth like the European. So in that regard, I find it to be overly dramatic than what it should be. I also hate the side mirrors. They're not automatic. You actually got to manually fold them in. I think that's corny.
Probably
Even you can buy it. Go ahead.
probably to save weight, but I mean that looks like two Corvette models ago. Literally, the front looks just
Yeah.
like two Corvette models ago. It's like, but I mean, is their first time? So that's why I'm saying we'll see.
Well, I mean, you changed it to a mid-engine configuration, right? So
Yeah, this is a whole
you were
new ballgame for
yeah,
them.
but you were gonna have to keep those Corvette styling cues somewhere. So
Right.
it was gonna be on the front end.
Yeah.
That's always gonna be the most iconic thing of a car, right? Front end.
Because
You
it's
know,
still an American car, which means it has to have that American big, ugly, swoopy styling. Big, rude, and crude. Anything American has to be big, rude, and crude. Totally lacking any class, sophistication, and refinement,
So
which
yeah.
again is reflection of general American culture. But I digress.
Oh, Paul. Oh, wait a minute, man. You
woo!
show a little respect, man. As a Trans Am owner, I'm insulted by these comments, man.
The next thing
You
you
guys
know,
don't know
Paul.
Paul like I know Paul.
Yeah, well, the next thing you know, Paul be trying to put like a yaki on the back of the wing, trying to tell us that it's overly dramatic. Two snaps and a twist.
Mike is reckless tonight. Nice. I love it.
And yeah. So, where do you put the license plate? I think that covers up a lot of the cooling that comes into it.
It depends. I'm guessing that panel right there in the middle.
Mhm.
I'm on the same page as you, Mike. This entire front end for me is way too busy. There's too many creases and dips in the hood. Um, I don't like the front panels. They look fake, even though they're functional because there's two heat exchangers there. So it's functional. I guess I don't like that look. And
Mhm.
the overall design, like I said, it's not European. It doesn't have that smooth, functional, svelte look to it. And the mirrors, as far as um, I get the idea of trying to save weight, but this is 2019.
True.
AC, AC motors weigh next to nothing now. So
Yeah.
I
But
don't know.
it seems that a lot of car makers are, they're making the blowing the front fenders out. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, that's handling. So so the wider route that you can push the help me out here, complex. What is it? The front suspension pivot
Yeah,
point.
the wider the track,
Correct.
the
Thank you.
wider, the wider the track, the more road imprint you have.
Thank you. Right. So everyone's doing that, and at the end of the day, whether it's the Germans, the Japanese, or the Americans, automotive styling in this day and age is derivative. Everything looks like everything else.
Well, and that largely has to do, quite honestly, that has to do with crash test regulations.
And
Yes,
cost.
it
That's why
does.
all these cars look big and bulky now.
Exactly, because the belt line of the car has to be a minimum height, and they have to have that side impact beam in there. So we are not. So a car like the a car like the Ford GT40 will literally never be made as a legal vehicle ever again because it was too low and the belt line was also too low. So you see, even these short, small sitting on the ground sports cars. They have the high belt lines with the low roof, with the wide slab sides, all for safety.
Right, and they all run big tires, big
Yep,
diameter tires,
yep.
right? So to try and offset that high belt line, right? So you try to lower the car as much as you can, but you use big tires to raise it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got a quick question. What do you guys think about the only transmission being offered is the 8-speed double clutch, so no more manual? What's your thoughts on that?
No, that's
Blasphemy.
normal. That's normal.
That's normal. Everybody's going. Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The C7 had the same automatic transmission as well. So it's not that. I mean, it's not that uncommon that any modern car, any modern sports or supercar right now is going to have an automatic transmission. No one, Lewis Hamilton isn't, walking away from racing because he doesn't have a clutch. He's saying, give me whatever advantage I can have.
Well, yeah,
Paddle shift.
Porsche seems to be the only one still offering the manuals, man.
Porsche and BMW.
Yeah,
and they charge more. They charge more for the manual than they do for the automatic.
They
which
sure
makes
do.
sense now. I mean,
but check this out. You will never guess. I don't know if you guys remember the company of every company on earth that led that charge, Ferrari. One of the last things that Luca de Montezemolo did before he moved up, when he was the CEO of Ferrari, he said Ferrari will no longer offer manual transmissions in our cars. And again, Ulysses, help me out here. I mean, complex. I believe it was the F430. He said
The F430 was the last one.
Yep, that was the last
Yeah.
one. Ferrari will no longer offer manual transmissions at all, and that was part of the staple, that gated shifter.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you see
huh?
I said, did you see the Ferrari's old gearbox? Yeah, I would have taken that out too.
Right.
Well,
but
I mean, but
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead, Paul.
I was just gonna say really quick. Yeah, but you have to But Salchi, so that was one of the defining parts of what a Ferrari is, that gated shifter. So it's like part of the reason why you bought a Ferrari, because that car had that gated shifter. But Luca said that no. If we invented the paddle shifter for F1 and we brought it to the street, so it doesn't make sense that since we were the company that invented it, that we're still offering a manual transmission. So I disagree.
I was gonna say. Well, I was gonna say, I think the paddle shift is, everything basically derives from motorsport and it goes down into production. So it was only a matter of time before production transmissions, even in like sports cars and supercars and stuff, were going to be basically paddle shift, right? It was just, I mean, you can streamline production costs, because then you're not manufacturing essentially two transmissions for one car.
Well,
go ahead, Mike.
No. I was just gonna swing quickly to the interior. Um, this is something that's new to Corvette, to the Corvette series. That big, long um, cockpit that they have for your right arm. Obviously, because there's no shifter, right? And
Yeah.
that big touchpad up front, and then the dashboard, and then it's more. That's very close to what a supercar is at this point. The interior, I would compare that to like a um a
Looks like the
Murcielago, like a,
yeah, the McLaren interior a little bit.
well, not the McLaren. McLaren
Oh,
doesn't have a long console like that, but because the console is very minimal, but I would say very close to that of an Aventador
Yeah.
or a Murcielago.
Yeah. I would say like those buttons look like the Huracan buttons a little bit.
yeah,
The
or in the
chrome
middle.
buttons
Yeah,
in the middle. Yeah.
yep,
To me, it's a bit of a gimmick having the buttons in that vertical line like that, but it kind of reminds me, and don't bite my head off. If it were half as long, it kind of reminds me of what's in the Bugatti Chiron. As far as you have that line right down the middle, and you have the buttons beneath that screen, and then that's the interior. But this interior, my only question, again, I have to bring it back. It's a GM. Will there
yep,
be squeaks and rattles? Will they use fake wood and fake chrome and
yes,
Oh
hard
man.
leather that
yes,
fades and
yes,
cracks? Will it squeak and rattle?
yes.
Will all the switch gear be loud and clunky and
You know
hard
what,
to
Paul? You
read?
know what, dude? If I was a salesman, if I was a salesman at a goddamn GM dealership, trying to sell you this damn car, I just tell you to leave.
Hey, Paul, man, are you serious, man? What are you doing here, man? You serious, man? With
Bro, listen.
He's scrutinizing it. There's nothing wrong with that. He's scrutinizing it. I'm just
Bro,
ribbing him for it.
listen. I am third generation GM family. My grandfather, rest in peace, he was a GM man. My father had caddies. He had a deuce and a quarter. He had Chevys. So if there's anything I know GMs. GMs eat fuel pumps, fuel sending units, starter motors, off alternators, and the gauge cluster, and they squeak and they rattle. So at the end of the day, I'm hoping that that's real chrome and not fake chrome. I would like to see carbon fiber, but that's just me. I'm hoping that that's
I would
soft.
say that's one of the upgrades. I would say that, man, there's probably some sort of interior package
Yeah,
that's going to run you
upgrade.
like 12 grand, and that's going to get you the premium shit. It's going to get you your carbon fiber, and I'm pretty sure it'll be real. To get you all your carbon fiber bits in the front. On the dash might get you some you know some racing seats. It's like similar to getting that same type of package for the Italia 458, the Ferrari. That package is like 15 grand, I think, but it completely the interior is completely redone over. So I would imagine that it's going to be the same for something like this.
Hey, yeah, Paul. I mean, they could always charge $6,000 for the carbon fiber seats, like Porsche does, or they
Well,
could
Oh, I
charge
think
I
that's
think what
$800 for the
that,
emblem.
I think I think what you guys may be referring to is that because the next package up is a Z06, right? So a Z06 isn't some extraordinary vehicle. It's just a package for the Corvette. So 12,000 more makes sense if they're talking about bringing out a Z06, and that's probably something that everybody's going to wait on because most people who buy Corvettes do buy the Z06. They don't
yeah,
really,
They don't buy the base, yeah.
yeah. The base model is something that like Enterprise. They'll let you put that.
yep. And the girls,
Yeah.
hurts.
Enterprise.
yeah,
But you know what though? I I'm gonna say this though. I hope that they don't copy BMW and option you to death because BMW started that. So like their car will say be 40,000. but to get everything on it that you really want, by the time you just
It's like
option
80.
the damn thing costs $57. Like, whoa!
Yeah, sounds like
Whoa!
Porsche, man.
BMW are the masters at that. I mean, they created that shit.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds like Porsche too, pretty
But
much.
that's a different level, man.
Yep.
But the car does come with 5G. It does come with you know good navigation system. Well, I shouldn't say navigation system, but infotainment system. I'm not sure if it's Android or Apple CarPlay ready. Um, it does look good. I'm disappointed in the turn stocks though.
Yes.
Yeah, what is that, man? I get better turn stocks in my Volkswagen than that.
GM, bro, GM, and see, here's the problem. Here's another problem that a lot of let me back that up. Here's a problem that European reviewers had about the C6 and the C7 Vet, that you could get the same exact switchgear in a $100,000 Vet that you could find in, say, a $15,000 Chevy Geo, or whatever the base model GM is now.
The Veil.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So I'm not crazy about the stalks. I'm not crazy about the switch gear in this car. Even the buttons, I would have liked some soft touch buttons, a la Mercedes, and I would have liked some more stylish stalks, a la BMW or Audi. Which I drive. But listen, GM is trying. I applaud that. I do applaud that. It's like they said, okay, we're gonna step out of the typical American car box and try to push this thing as European as we can while still staying somewhat American. So for that alone, I applaud them. But as I said at the top, right now I have a wait and see attitude. I'm not convinced on this car yet.
Oh, Paul.
What do you guys think about this interior quality on the seats in the door cards?
No,
it doesn't.
that doesn't look like real leather.
Go ahead. I'll jump in next.
That door that does not that cannot be real leather.
No. It might be like the same material that they use on members only jackets in the 80s, but
The last member.
That's who designed the interior, dude.
The last member.
No, the interior seats they seem to be below the standards of the high end Porsche seats. That's for sure.
Well, that's to be expected because of the car.
The price point.
Yeah, it's the price point.
They can't they can't go any higher because then they'll be losing their core market.
Yeah.
And then you know what? Besides, I mean, you know what? All right, listen. Let's just let's forget the car that I drive. Okay. If you look at the global luxury standard, it's Mercedes Benz. So either you are below the benchmark or you are above the benchmark. But that benchmark is Mercedes Benz. No GM car, when you get into the interior, has the same quality leather as a Benz or even any other German, whether it's a Beamer or Audi. They just don't have the same quality leather. They don't have that Mercedes Tex, which is that semi-hard material that they put on the doors and the dash. They don't have real wood. They don't have carbon fiber. They don't even have real chrome. They still have that cheap plastic chrome that's basically a freaking sheet that's a heated applique on top of plastic. So
why don't they just use like aluminum foil or something?
Might as well. They might as well.
The interior looks really, really tight from this angle.
It does.
It looks like a spaceship. It's like you get in there. I mean, it would be cool if the doors went up vertically, like a McLaren or an Aventador or something. But it just looks really, really unnecessarily tight. Just a huge dashboard, a huge console, and it's like, what exactly are we packing in here? What's the logic behind this?
Well,
I mean,
I don't off the bat. I don't like the seats. The seats don't look functional, right? It looks more like form over function. Those don't look like say like Recaro seats that have been like purposed for a sports car application, like you would get in a Ferrari, again the 458. If you get the track package on all that, I mean those Recaro seats that gonna come in there, those things are gonna run you about 3,800 a piece,
Yeah.
right? Looking at those seats right there, they look like PC gaming seats kind of.
They look like Honda Civic Type R seats.
Oh,
Oh,
Shit.
damn.
hey, wait a minute, wait a minute. Hey, Paul, do you consider this a supercar now, man?
a supercar.
I think Paul thinks that this car is like it's basically like a tuner version of a Chevy Cruze.
Wow. Shots fired.
No,
No.
in order for a car to be a supercar, it has to be bespoke, right? So everything has to be custom to that vehicle, and it doesn't really share too many parts. I mean, I think engines being shared is fine because Mercedes does share their AMG engines with like Aston Martin, right? No one would ever question the quality of an Aston Martin at its price, but when it comes to supercars, they have to be bespoke, and that's what gives them their title. In this regard, the Corvette was never meant to be a. It's meant to be a supercar killer, but it itself is not a supercar.
I would tend to agree with that. And I have a wait and see attitude. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
not saying
I will
yes.
say, oh, go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
No. Go.
I was just gonna say, I will say this on track. I think this thing will be a supercar killer.
That's, you know what, you took the words right out of my mouth because
Yeah.
they keep giving us 0 to 60 times, but the numbers that they're not giving us
Track time.
quarter mile, they're not giving us top
Track.
speed, and they haven't given us any ring lap times yet.
Yep.
That's what I want to see.
I thought they did Nordschleife.
The car was the
They were
car
testing. They were testing there.
a lot of testing. The car was R&D at the ring, but they haven't done any official runs. They haven't printed any official times yet. So no
That's
one
not a
knows.
good sign.
Yes and no.
That's
It
not a good
could
sign.
be a PR thing. I don't know. Although I want to agree with you because every manufacturer, the first thing they do is they print ring times.
Yep.
And
Yep.
they didn't do this. Even Nissan sandbagged the entire world with the GTR because they said the car made 480 horsepower, but they lied. The car actually made 530 horsepower,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
that's how it set that record at the Nordschleife.
so
Yeah.
I wonder if they tested it with 91 octane rather than 93 octane.
That is a good question.
That would make a lot of sense because in California you can only get 91, right? Boo hoo, right? But
Yeah.
because you're not getting the maximum, fuel enrichment, right? So I guess that makes sense if they only tested it, with 91 octane and just said, hey, this is what it makes.
I don't know. Personally, I don't like the steering wheel at all. I like that it's flat bottom. I like the flat top, but those two side pieces, I look at that and I see my mom's 1984 Cadillac Brougham.
Damn, that's savage, man.
I'm telling you what it
Hey,
is.
I like the flat bottom because that kind of reminds me, and that red stitching reminds me of my Abarth steering wheel. But I prefer I don't prefer a flat top though, but flat bottom I definitely like. I think the steering wheel's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I like it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the flat top since Kid and Play, but
Oh, Mike is
what I,
reckless tonight.
but what I will say is that you need a flat bottom in order to get your legs up under there because it's so tight.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible to have a round steering wheel. But this angle right here, man, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know who spec this out.
Jesus.
America, baby, America. Because Jed got to have his old Corvette now, boy.
Yeah.
The good old boys, they got to have that. You see there?
A lot of Americans gonna struggle to even get in and get out of that car.
Well, you know what? Coming back to Mike's thing, and I think what Complex said about the seats. A lot of Americans are fat, so they have to make the seats wide. You know, like I have the sports seats in the S4, and if you're fat, you're not getting it. It's going to be uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of these little buttons. I mean, imagine if it's GM quality, these buttons fail. How much is it going to cost you to replace each and every button?
Imagine, Dr. Phoenix in the chat asked a question a while ago. Engine maintenance. It's a mid-engine car. That's telling me the entire rear subframe is going to have to be dropped for every engine maintenance. That's going to be pricey and a nightmare to work on. I can see it now.
So, Paul, I'm getting the impression you haven't pre-ordered yours yet.
My S4 is safe. It's going nowhere. I'll leave it at that.
Oh man.
Although it doesn't put it past me that Paul would go out and get like an RS5 or something like that coupe if he wants to.
Fun car.
You know what? Funny enough, Mike. You know what, Mike? God's honest truth. I went to go look at the S5 because I think it's a beautiful car, and I wanted it for a long time. It doesn't have a moonroof. It has tilt. It has a tilt-up sunroof, but not a sliding moonroof, and that for me is an absolute deal killer.
Also, it's panoramic. It's panoramic.
Right, and it tilts up.
Yep.
Panoramic, and it tilts up, but it does not slide back and actually open. Any vehicle I have has to have that. My Tahoe has a moonroof. Any vehicle that I'm behind the wheel has to have an open moonroof.
Well, wait a minute. Did you just mention you own the GM vehicle here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because I will say this. And I am rock solid on this. Germans make the best cars in the world. However, America builds the best trucks. You can't tell me any different.
You would never take an X5 off-road.
Absolutely not. Never. America makes the best trucks in the world. Chevy Tahoe till the day I die. I just keep getting new ones.
Yeah, well, you can't knock a Nissan Xterra either. I think Complex Design has one of those.
Yep. Nah, I love the Xterra, man.
I think his is a 4x2 though.
Hey,
I had the V6, just the rear wheel drive V6.
Yeah, but it never snows in Cali, so he's good.
Well, he like to like go over like speed bumps in like mall parking lots and stuff.
Very, very fast. I like to go real fast over speed bumps. Yep.
Whoa, yeah, Almeida in the back going, whoa, buddy.
Wait, time out. How many packages of sticky
oh no, Paul,
can the Xterra carry? Streets want to know.
Wait, how many packages of what?
Sticky honey buns can the Xterra carry?
Oh, a whole lot, man. There's a lot of space inside of it, man. Look, I was able to pile like 25 scooters into my Xterra one time.
Nice.
Like I went down to the facility and I had to pick up a bunch of like broken scooters and do diagnostics on them, and I was able to pile like 25 of them in the Xterra, man. It was crazy.
Cool.
So I don't know, probably a few hundred sticky buns.
Hey, Mike V, y'all got to do a sport bike hangout pretty soon, man.
Oh man, we did those.
Yeah, we did. That was a while ago, Mike, huh?
Yeah, that was our first hangout. That was our first hangout.
Yeah, that was like the first one. Yeah, we did sports bikes. Sport
Oh
bikes.
wow, hey, I missed that, man.
Oh yeah, man. My next bike is gonna be a Ducati Street Fighter. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nice.
nice. Yeah, I like MV Agusta, man,
Yes,
myself.
sir.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm a
can't
big fan of those.
I
Yes.
can't ride those for more than a half an hour, dude, before my butt hurts, man. That's too much, man. It
Just
has
change
no
the seats.
cushioning.
Just
Huh?
get different seats and you'll be good.
Well,
Yeah, it's a street legal bike, man. You know, I don't think you're really meant to be on that thing
Be
for
on it
more than
long, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going from here, if I'm going from Boston to New York, I won't survive that
Oh
trip.
man, you kill yourself. You're back. You kill yourself.
Mike, have you seen the pictures? Chevy announced that they're offering the Vet in a convertible, not a Targa, actual convertible.
I haven't.
Okay, yeah. If you want to Google it now, because they released the pictures today. So I don't know what your take is on it. Personally, when it comes to mid-engine cars, I prefer Targa over full convertible. But to get into each his own.
Okay.
But it's. I'll say this. I applaud GM. For making the effort, and it's good, solid efforts. It's like they're really thinking outside of their box. Yep, that's it, right there. That's official.
That's a Spider. That's like a Spider, though, right?
That's what I'm saying, but they're
that's what it
calling
looks
it
like.
a convertible. But to me, that's a Spider.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, that's very close to what at 488 or even a
Yeah,
570S McLaren
Right.
Spider would look like.
yeah, it looks like a spider more so than a full convertible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But hey,
Yeah,
I'm not GM.
Well, GM has a lot of ambitions if they want to stay relevant. I mean,
yeah,
I can see the purpose of it because usually that's what happens. They release the coupe version first, and then they come out with the convertible later. Because they gotta run that assembly line down, right?
Right.
Pump out those vehicles. But
Yeah. So yeah, if you look right now on your bottom left of your screen, there's one picture there. Yeah, that one.
mhm.
Yeah. So another angle of it.
That windshield is massive, man.
Dude, it's you know what? It it reminds me of my brother has a Jaguar XJ8 convertible, and that the windshield is so long because the car is so low. Because it's a 80. His car is it's either an 89 or a 90. No, sorry, scratch that. It's a 90. No, his is a 98. I was thinking about his photo that he had. So he has a XJ8 convertible, and it's a 98 and low belt line, low roof, and so when he has the roof down, there's like barely any windshield, and it's so long because of that massive rake.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And this reminds me of that totally.
Let's look at the Toyota Supra. Toyota Supra is 52K. I feel
Oh,
sorry
you
for
mean
Toyota.
the BMW Supra?
Oh yeah, it would. Yeah.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Dude, that car is 85% BMW.
Yeah.
It's the Z4. It's the Z4
That's
chassis.
sacrilege to call it. It's a sacrilege to call it a Supra at this point.
It is.
I think it's hideous, man.
And
I can't do it. No.
the funny thing is this: the Supra looks like the BRZ, but the Supra is 85% BMW, and Toyota spent years on this thing. I'm like, how does that work? That's not a Toyota. It's a BMW. The car is mechanically 85% a BMW. That car that we're looking at right now, that chassis is the Z4. That is a BMW. If you open this car, the engine, the hood, the interior, the entire engine bay, all the parts say BMW on them.
It literally looks like a Z4.
The Z4 Coupe.
If you really look at it.
Yeah, or the BRZ.
Yeah, especially the front and the front and rear quarter panels, like the wheel, the arches, the quarter panels, and the roof. That whole profile right there, I can see a BMW Z4 in that.
It is.
Well, you can see it now because you know that it's the BMW Z4, but overall, it looks like a Toyota for the most part, and in the cosmetic state that it's in right now, right? But the Z4, it's no one's really waiting in line for a Z4. People want the clown shoe, the Z3, right? The especially the M model, right? The Z3M. That's what people are waiting for. People don't want, this. This is not.
Yeah, I think with this, man, they kind of missed the target, man, especially not having their own motor. That old J2 engine, man, from the 90s, man.
Or the 2JZ.
The 2JZ.
Bulletproof. That thing is bulletproof.
Yeah, that engine is an icon, man. One of my favorite motors ever.
That is one of the two best engines that ever came out of Japan. The 2JZ and the RB26D.
Yep.
Yeah, the 2JZ with a Nas.
It would be sweet if this car was available at a fat discount over the BMW. It would make a lot more sense, seeing as it's a Toyota. But at the price point is at, they can forget it.
Yeah, it might be too little, too late with the Supra.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they messed that up royally.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what though, Mike? Now that I think about it, the LFA, the car was ready to go. They put 5 years in it, and then Mr. Toyota said, "No, I don't like it," and they went back and started from scratch and put 5 more years into it. Great car when it came out. Had a Formula One motor in it as far as the responsiveness. Great car, bleeding edge technology at that time when the car came out. 10 years to bring out a car that they had the price at $475,000. They couldn't give that thing away.
No, that thing still sells. That's above sticker.
Yeah, but is it because of like the novelty of it? Because
it's a V10 that weighs the same amount as a V6. It literally weighs 380 pounds, and it sounds like a F1 car when it takes off.
Exactly, but when Toyota was making them and selling them, they had a hard time moving them, especially at that price. So my question is, was that kind of a misstep? Because now apparently they've done the same thing with this Supra in name only.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Well,
I mean,
I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to say, I just think it's a bit of a trend considering that they've kind of done something similar with the FRS and the BRZ.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically, it's basically the same car, but it seems as though as Toyota is kind of, I don't know if they're kind of doing the whole partnership thing in terms of taking an approach to manufacturing like high performance cars, or what their thing is. But yeah, it seems like the last few like high performance offerings that they've kind of put out there, they've done traditionally un-Toyota things in terms of going about doing that.
Yeah, because there's Toyota of America and not Toyota of Japan that's doing this, right? So Toyota of America is a very corporate driven structure where they're trying to look for return on profits, and they don't see that part of the market as being profitable, whereas Japan is saying let's go go go, and America is saying no. From a mayonnaise man perspective, but I want to I want to look at it. I want to look at the Lotus before we close out at 2 o'clock. But the Evija. So this is their electric hypercar. Starts at $1.7 million. I think it tops out at 2 million or something like that.
Is that all?
Hey man, it's loaded with tech though.
Hey,
yeah.
listen, I'll say.
Hey Paul,
Yes,
I like
sir.
to hear you. Before we get out of here, I'd like to hear your opinion on the 918 Spider, man.
The 918 Spider is absolutely bleeding edge tech, bro. It's, it's the 918, the LaFerrari, and the McLaren P1. So that's that's the bleeding edge of automotive tech. For anyone who doesn't know, what Mike was talking about at the top of the live stream, Lotus and GM have had a partnership going back to the early 80s as far as Lotus doing suspension R&D work for GM. So not everything was actually made public, or not so much made public, was highlighted. So they would talk about it, but it was never highlighted. So if you didn't read about it in a car magazine, you would never know about it, that GM and Lotus are old partners, and they work very well. And Lotus has done a lot of R&D work for them. So it's really nice to see this car here. I saw that Carfection did a beautiful piece on this car, and it looks amazing.
Sleek, all around, balanced out. But that price point, man. I mean, I mean, for that, I'm looking at a Zonda. I mean.
Well, this walks everything on the market.
I was gonna say, this will walk it. This will pretty much walk all that shit.
The car is 1,900 horsepower, bro. This is the most powerful production car on the planet ever.
And it's light as crap.
This car will walk anything.
Has it been reviewed yet, or I haven't seen any reviews on it yet?
No, it only came out last week in terms of like the announcement.
Okay.
Press release. My Lotus dealership called me this morning and told me August you should start seeing shipments for the new Lotuses. So
okay,
low tie as I say for America. So it sounds to me like they gotten around some of the tariffs and sanctions.
So
okay.
how many
they did, Mike, just real quick, they got around that because the car is produced in the UK.
Well, because I think it's such a low number of vehicles that come over. I think there's a limited amount that you can ship that you can import. I think it has to be something like less than 150 or something to that effect. I forget what it is.
I'm sorry, Salchi. Go ahead, man.
That's pretty much what I was asking. I was like, how many are they going to be shipping out here? But yeah, I mean, for that price point, yeah, I mean, it's only going to be a low hundreds.
Well, these are already sold out. These are already sold out. They already sold every last one.
Yeah, they're already bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that most of them went to the Middle East, but
of course.
The GT is what I have my eye on. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, this is beyond words, man. I mean, that Carfection PR is life, man. That's
they get down into the pure functionality, and that's what I'm about, dude. I like designs that are based on function, right? How like I mean, that car right there is literally, it's like a walking, talking piece of aero kit. If you look at the air channels and how they flow through the body, like that, what looks like the rear wheel, the rear light panel in the back,
it's hollow.
That's actually it's hollow. It's hollow. So the air just channels right through the side of the car, and then pushes down through that channel in the back. I mean, and then there's the air channels in the front. I mean, it's a living, breathing piece of aerodynamics.
But the only question that I have, Can this thing outhandle a Honda Civic Type R? The streets want to know.
For
Yeah, you gotta ask King
$1.7 million,
Damiente.
it better.
Yeah, you gotta ask Damiente, man.
For
Damiente,
1.7 million, it better.
yeah, Damiente on the streets popping wheelies on a bird scooter, man. Yeah, but this is just a rolling computer at this point, man. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some artificial intelligence embedded into this as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, to manage the whole entire. I mean, you got 1,900 horsepower. How the hell do you manage all that?
Very sophisticated BMS. I mean, all mil spec electronics as far as your connectors and all that type of stuff, man. They, you know, like you said, this thing is, it's pretty. It exceeds anything that an internal combustion engine is capable of.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason why it's 1.7 million is because, and I've always said this about EVs, man. They fundamentally function differently. Fundamentally, you know, power application, power sources in of itself. The fact that you're using batteries means that you can center all of the weight towards the bottom, the center and the bottom of the car. So you can better equalize weight distribution. Motor configurations, depending on the type of motors you're using, you can put them practically anywhere. I mean,
yeah. Hey,
carbon fiber as well.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. The car doesn't even have the car doesn't even have rear axles. It has a traction motor at each wheel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's bro, that is bleeding edge technology right there. 1,900 horsepower. The Bugatti Chiron was the most powerful production car in the world. This blows that out of the water.
And the thing about the Bugatti is that, like, if you look at the Tesla 2020 Roadster, which at this particular point, well, I think the only other cars would be the whatchamacallit, the Audi. Audi came out with the God, why am I drawing a blank at the name? The e-tron. Then I just posted a link to Bentley's EXP GT100, their electric Grand Tourer.
Yeah.
They just came out with that one. This, like, as soon as the Lotus released this, Bentley released theirs.
Nice.
So you need to take a look at that thing. That thing just looks futuristic as all hell.
Oh no! Hey, listen, King Damiete, it's all jokes, bro. Whatever you like is what you like. Lotus over Civic. I can't even deal right now.
Let's look at the used market on what a Stingray and a Z06 would be for a C7. Let me see.
That's a good question.
What are they going for? About 40, 45 right about now?
Yeah, something like that. And I think you're gonna see the market tank even more come September.
I would imagine so.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch that just went up for sale.
Yeah, but well, they got traded in, but keep in mind that these are cars that are gonna have low mileage, V8, fast as crap, and it's the same price as like a Honda Civic Type R, brand new.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dude, 57,000 for a Grand Sport with the 3LT package, which I believe is the highest for the Grand Sport, the base model.
Yeah.
A 2016 Stingray. These prices are insane. Considering what the car costs new.
Oh yeah.
Look at that one.
43 grand. That's insane.
35 grand.
36. Wow.
Wow.
Bad.
36. That's
a 2LT package.
45 for a Stingray.
Z51 package.
And the car's fast.
Wow.
Say that again, Triple X.
I said that one you're showing, it's a 2016 Stingray with the Z51 package for 36 grand. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've been paying attention to the market. With Car Gurus. Shout out to Car Gurus. There's quite a few brothers over there. Who are some of the engineers that behind the power behind all this searching. Over here in Cambridge at the headquarters.
Damn, look at the price on these.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm not really a vet fan. I can't see myself writing out that check, but bro, you can't beat these prices.
No, it's a good time to be a car enthusiast if you want a fast car, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul, any opinions on the C7, man?
The C7, I like it. I like it a lot. To me, it is a badass vehicle. I like it. Personally, I think that it's American, so it's not German. It's a GM, but bro, I take nothing away from it. That is a mean looking machine. I've seen dudes who have the Z06, the Z06 triple black with blacked out rims with deep black tint, bro.
Oh yeah.
Hottest thing on the street. I gotta give it to him, man.
Yeah.
Gotta give it to him. That thing is a sexy beast.
Sal, you have anything you want to add to that? I think Sal.
Nah, man, not. I mean, yeah, I'm a German guy, man. I mean, once you're a German, man, you can't come back. I'm sorry.
Oh, have you been to the ring? Have you been to the ring yet?
No.
Oh man, you gotta go. Paul Bryant, tell him, man.
Well, bro, see, here's the thing, right? I've been going back and forth for years. So a few months ago, relocated. So I'm home now in New York right now, but I'll be going back, and I have a place there. So I've basically split my time between there and New York. So you have to go to the ring. So Monday through Saturday during the season, there's tourist and farting. So you can take whatever vehicle you want on the ring and just run it 2 hours a day. And on Sunday, it's most of the day, unless of course there's an event, and of course there's races. The races are usually on Saturday, and of course if they shut the ring down for a few hours for manufacturers testing. But it's the Nürburgring. It's the hardest track in the world. It's the longest track in the world, and you have to go. And with all due respect, Mike, to Archie Hamilton and how he said about the simulator, and it's a good, accurate representation. No simulator in the world prepares you for the Nürburgring. The simulator can show you the bumps and show you the elevations and things, but when you're going down the Hatzenbach, you're going downhill and you're going faster, and the turns are getting tighter and closer as you're going. When you're going up the Kielbecker toward the Flugplatz, and you have to hit the brake to make the right turn. After Schwedenkreuz, and you're going down into the Fuchsruhe, and you're about to bottom out, and now you're going right back uphill. Nothing prepares you for that. That entire track, you're either going uphill or downhill. 71 of the 73 corners are negative camber. I mean, it's amazing. You have to go. If you love racing, you have to go to the Nürburgring. There's no other way around it.
Okay.
Now we're gonna get to Celti's car right here, man. Huh? No, Celti's a German guy, so
yeah.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Dude, I worship at the
yes.
at the speed of I worship at the altar of German speed.
Yeah, I just read an article that said that GT4 does the Nürburgring 4 seconds faster than a Carrera GT, man.
Yeah, I saw that.
Crazy.
And granted, it should have had if you gave the the GT, the Carrera GT, some new rubber, you know, some Trofeos or something like that, you'll probably get a better outcome.
Right.
I mean, this is on Michelin Pilot Sport Cup Sport Pilot Cup 2s.
Yeah,
There's Cup 2s on there. So with a Carrera GT, you gotta put brand new Trofeos on there. They gotta be warmed up and they gotta be ready to go to get the most optimal lap time. So
yeah.
but you know, this is Sauchi's car right here, man. This is what he worships. This is what he's saving his pennies up for.
Okay, all right.
I'm looking at the power difference between this and the C8, but I see the fantastic time that the GT4 has knocked off. I'm wondering how that Vette with the Z51 package is going to compare. Can't wait till they put the times out.
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, in a straight line, I'm sure it'll do fine. But when you got to stop and turn,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, yeah, at that Nürburgring, yeah, I'm sure it'll be quicker in a straight line.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah, we're spoiled, man. I'll
Porsches,
be honest.
listen. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, we're I'm serious, man. People ask me, hey, what's it like on the? Hey, once you drive one, once you have them, man, it's hard to go back. That's what I tell everybody. It's real hard, man. You get into
Porsches
another car, you're like, oh, I don't know.
Porsches are born at the ring. They are born
Yeah.
at the ring. They're built at the ring. They live at the ring. In fact, Complex. I don't know if you know, you can buy a 911 turbo. I'm sorry, no, the 911 GT3 RS MR, which is Manti Racing. So Porsche builds a 911 GT3 RS. They ship it to Manti Racing. They work their magic on it. So now it's a Manti Racing street legal race car. So Porsche is all about one thing and one thing only:
Jeez.
racing.
Yeah.
Man, 305s in the back. I'm gonna stop.
Porsche.
Carfection just also uploaded. They also just uploaded the new review video for the 718 Cayman GT GT4. Literally
I-
just like a few minutes ago, I got the notification.
Carfaction? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, on Carfection.
it's the real deal.
So Sauchi, what do you think about the side profile?
Look at it. What do you think? Man, honestly, I couldn't,
Look at it.
I couldn't own a car like that because I've gotten out of my stupid phase with cars, but I would probably lose my mind, man. I mean, in my when the first 335 came out, man, because at the time I was living in Connecticut, so I was in my early 20s. Roommate worked at BMW. So I drove from Rhode Island to where I lived in Stanford. So that's 100 and a little over 150 miles. You know how long it took me to drive that mileage?
Probably a couple minutes.
About 40 minutes.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
About 40 minutes, man. That's the only time I ever said, I'm not stopping it for cop. No way. No cop could keep up with me. Literally, just 140, 150, all the way. All the way. Brakes, never faded. Man,
Yeah.
I was sold that day. I was sold on Germans. That day I was sold, man.
You know, they do seem to have, how can I explain this? It's, because I've had a lot of American performance cars, a lot of cheap cars.
My condolences.
Yeah.
God damn.
Hey, Paul, that was savage, man. That's savage. Hey, it's something that's just really spot on about the steering, man, and the chassis and how the car like moves and how fluid it is. The ride is more connected.
Man, let me tell you this, man. My cousin, die hard, American, blah blah blah. So I pick him up in this is obviously in my mid-20s at the time, in an RS4. So I'm always talking German cars, and he's just like whatever. So he's like, show me what this thing could do. I said, you sure, man? He said, yeah. I said, I'm just tell you this a little piece. Same brakes on this car, the same brakes that's on the Lambo. So I'm gonna let you know that right now. As soon as we go on the on ramp, before we even go on the highway, we're already doing a $120. He's losing his mind, enjoying himself. We get off at the next exit. I'm doing more than 120. Stop on a dime, no problem. You know what he drives now? Audi 5 Series coupe. All right, he doesn't touch American cars anymore.
Wow.
Yeah,
Bro,
I'm telling you, man. Once you go German, man, it's real.
you'll never
hard.
go back. You'll never go
Real
back.
hard.
You know, Porsche, BMW, Audi, and Mercedes, they have full-time full-time year-round R&D and testing facilities at the Nürburgring. Full-time. These cars are built on the ring. They're all about one thing and one thing only: racing. You know, so everything trickles down after that.
Yep.
You know, Mike, I don't know if you're so inclined, Mike, if you want to pull up the Widowmaker, the GT2 RS.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to go through this because this is brand new.
Cool.
And Selchi is splurging all over it. Give him a drop cloth. And so, Selchi, what would be your color of choice?
Oh man, gray, man.
Gray?
Yeah.
So bland?
I would get gray, man. I would get gray. I get gray. I would get the gray. Yep.
Okay.
You trying to avoid cops?
Yes. Yes.
You want to avoid cops? If you want to avoid cops, get yourself a laser deflector for the front plate and the rear plate, and then get yourself a red line radar, an escort.
Yep. Yeah, man.
And get and download Waze to your phone. There's a cop ahead.
Oh man, you doing 120? I'm telling you, man, you doing more than 120. And a cop is not moving. They don't even know what you are. They have no idea.
Well, how many tickets do you have?
0.
Exactly.
0.
BS, Saushi.
I'm dead serious.
I call BS
0.
on that.
No, I'm serious. No speeding tickets. I am clean, man.
Bro.
I told you, I've calmed down. I'm clean.
Bro, there is a reason I leave my racing to the track and I drive like an old man around town. Too many speeding tickets over the years, so I stopped. I leave it at the track.
Well, parking tickets is a different story. But speeding, no.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Caught speeding one. What was that, Lex?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say, what track do you usually go to in America? I know you mentioned Nürburgring.
Lime Rock, Connecticut.
In Connecticut, well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice. You said you had an S4?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Red or yellow?
No. It is the gray.
Oh, okay.
Metallic gray.
Yeah.
I'm out at Willow Springs and Buttonwillow, out here in California.
Dude, I wanna go on Laguna Seca. The corkscrew.
Oh, that hill. Oof.
Yeah.
Trying to do some karting. I'm trying to do some karting up there later in the year.
Nice.
Run with NorCal Karters. Yeah, they run all their kart series, their races. They run on full size tracks.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Including Laguna. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you guys are spoiled out there in Cali.
There's a lot out here, man. I will admit, dude. It's a big state, right?
Yeah,
and there's just plenty of places away from like all of your metro areas. Where soon you get out into like the desert areas, or you just get out into the countryside and stuff. There's tracks all over the place.
Yeah, so let's look at the 911.
Yeah, all 28 versions of it.
Well, Southie can't get enough, man. All right, let me see if I can find an GT3.
Yeah, that's the trim. I'll take it in, please. Thank you.
Listen, if you're gonna go GT, then you want to go the top of the food chain to the Widowmaker, the GT2 RS.
The two.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, you know what? There is no GT3 available for 992 yet in America.
It's brand. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not available.
So it's still on the 991 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's old. We don't really want to. No, because it is old. Because it's an outgoing model, right? It's already served its life. But I don't know, man. I don't know what Porsche is going to do because 120K for a 113K for a Carrera, right? And then you look at the Corvette and you're like, okay, well, you'll make the argument and say, well, the 911 has back seats, as if you're going to get back there, right?
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you really think this is going to continue to be worth double the price of the Vet, man, with all the improvements to the Vet, fellas?
They would have to discontinue the Cayman. They would have to discontinue it. You can make a justification for the Boxster because it's female sales and whatnot, hairdressers and whatnot. But when it comes to the 911, that's going to be very difficult because if the Corvette, if the C8 is running laps around the 911, it's a hard sell. So I don't know. Porsche's not known for discounting their vehicles at all. I mean, either you can afford it.
No.
Which is why I asked the question. People traditionally they don't cross shop a Vet and a Porsche.
Yeah.
So if you buy Vets, then you buy Vets. But if you buy Porsche 911s, you're also cross shopping the Audi R8 V10. You're cross shopping the Huracan or even the Aventador. Well, maybe not the Aventador, but at least the Huracan. So I don't know if a prospective 911 buyer is going to cross shop a Vet. Now I say that because we keep saying that the Corvette has a base price of under 60,000, but that's the base model with no options, one LT. As you start to add on options and you add that sport performance package and now you add the Z51 package, that thing could start to push 70 grand now.
It'll easily do that. It'll easily do that.
I can't see the typical Porsche owner who earns $500,000+ a year with his average net worth is 2.5+ million. I'm sorry, I just can't see him.
No, I mean
even looking at a Porsche. I mean a Corvette.
Yeah, but Porsche is pushing down market too. I mean that was the whole purpose of the Cayman, right? It was to suck those guys in, suck those customers in.
Cayman was to compete on a lower level. Good point, Mike B.
Right. And I think what's happening here is Porsche's coming out with a new car sharing program where you pay like $2,000 or $1,500 a month, and you get to take out any 911 that you want for a certain amount of days and bring it back, and then you just do the cycle all over again. So I don't know, man. The car buying, there's a subscription model coming out from Porsche. Really? So that can really that could put some sugar into the tank of GM. I know Cadillac has a new car sharing program as well. That's out. I think it's like $2,000. You can take out any Escalade or any CTS-V or whatever you call those new hot rods that they have. Right. So it'll be difficult for GM. I mean, even like you said, Paul, you go to 2LT or 3LT, and then it goes up 70 plus K. That could be fine um, if if you're comparing rear engine to rear engine vehicles, mid engine to mid engine. You can make the justification and say, okay, I got a 3LT with a nice package, C51 or Z06, not a Z06, what is it? No, the Grand Sport.
They don't make the Grand Sport anymore.
No,
Not with the C8.
well, it's left to be seen, right? If there was going to be a next level version of the C8, right? You would say the Grand Sport, and that's the point that I'm making here, is that would be like the Carrera S.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question. You mentioned a lot of these guys, and you make a good point, don't cross shop Corvette with Porsche. But what about the more upscale, expensive vets like the ZL1 and the ZL6 that's like over 100 grand and stuff?
Well,
I'm telling you right
I
now.
think those are going to be. I think those are going to primarily just be GM guys. I mean, I think I kind of see what Paul's saying. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the Corvette, because it's mid-engine and it's coming in at 60, is going to sway a Porsche guy. I can't see that happening, right? I can see a whole bunch.
No, I was just gonna say it may not sway a Porsche guy who's dedicated to Porsche, but it may sway the guy who's conflicted in his views on whether or not he should go with with the new rear engine Corvette versus the traditional 911. I've driven 911s, man. I'm not all that blown away by them. I'm sorry. I mean it looks good on this on the screen right now that's being shared, but after you drive it a few times, you're like, what's so exciting about this, right? People who have Android phones, man, they live risky, man. They want something that feels like you're gonna kill them.
Which one did you drive?
Huh?
I said, which model did you drive? Just the 911 standard?
What were we in? GTS. GTS is fine, man. And it's like, okay, it's a step below. Yeah, it's a step below the GT3, but the problem the problem is it gets lackluster after a while. You're like, it's really mundane. It's not really something that's blowing your socks off. Like when I was in the Lotus, man, the Lotus really knocked my head back, man. I was like, man, this is something, man, because of the way I was designed, and so much power is packed into it. It's a small chassis, but the 911 didn't feel that way. It just felt like Mr. Belvedere, real suit and tie, bow tied out and stuff like that. So.
Well,
it's surgical.
But you see the thing about the 911 and the 911, if you're not driving it hard, if you're not pushing it, it doesn't feel spectacular at all. Yeah. It feels boring, mundane, tight, buttoned up. But when you make that bad boy sing, it comes alive. But therein lies the rub. In daily, day-to-day driving, how often do you really get to really push it?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point, Paul. I've always heard that the Porsches make the best daily drivers for the sports cars.
Yeah, it's a standard. It's these standards. There's a reason why the GTR was. I mean, they bought I don't know how many. There's a reason why even Teslas, because before Elon cars came out, big Porsche fan, huge Porsche fan. Bill Gates, Porsche fan. Just saying.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Corvette guys who buy the Z06 and buy the ZR1, most of those guys, those are your hardcore vet owners. They've already owned 4, 5, 6 vets, 7 vets. They're not buying anything else.
Yep.
You know, they also have a freaking Dodge Ram lifted. You know, they have a freaking riding lawnmower with a freaking turbo package in it. You
Paul,
know.
you stereotyping like
The Honda Mead mower. So you know those dudes, they're not shopping anything else. But so I think Mike makes a good point. It's the guy who's not a diehard vet guy, who's not a diehard Porsche guy, who's not a diehard McLaren guy. He just wants something different, and he has money to spend. And he's like, okay, how is he going to justify, say, 150 or 160 for, or you know what? How is he going to justify 190 for a 911 Turbo S when a vet Z06, when it comes out, say next year, is pushing the 80 or 90?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I was trying to get to. Is like when I was at the dealership, my sales guy told me that quirky guys buy Lotuses. And it doesn't matter about the cost or anything like that. You know, they're usually IT guys, I found I was blown away by that because I'm an IT person, and I didn't tell them I was an IT person at all. So I was like, man, that's something. And I met a couple of guys at the dealership who do own, who were getting their car serviced, and they were telling me how, you know, they were raving about how much they love the Lotus. And same thing for the you know, for the what do you call it, the 911, man.
No.
They love their 911, and they don't know what else to replace it with. But you know what happens when you get the guy who invested into crypto, made a lot of money back off of it, and now he's looking to spend it, right? He's looking to splurge, but he's not a car guy. He doesn't really have a fair understanding of mid-edging versus rear engine.
Right, exactly.
He's really wet behind the ears.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right. And that guy is not going to care about the Porsche cachet. He's not going to care about the Nürburgring, the lap times. It's a pure sports car. He's not going to care about the Lambo name. He's not going to care about the Audi R8. He's looking at pure numbers. That's it. So when he sees these numbers, you know, I think, Mike, I think you hit it on the head. Those guys are going to move toward this new C8 Vet, like in droves.
Well, I mean, I'll see. I mean, there's a big car scene out here every Saturday in Great
Cars and
Falls.
coffee.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Cars and coffee.
Yeah, it's called Katie's. I mean, every Saturday year round. I mean, I see everything there. So I mean, I'll ask around. I mean, I'm sure I'll see at least one, and I'll talk to that guy and get something honest.
Well, Porsche also takes care of his customers with Porsche Car Club of America. You know, all types of little trinkets and stuff they send to their customers and stuff. Man, the way they treat them, it's impeccable compared to something like you walk into a you know, to get your Corvette service. You know, you're sitting right next to the guy who has a Cruise. You know, like, I don't have anything. Right? you go to a 911 dealership, man. You're gonna see people that you know. It's a club. It's like a fraternity.
Yeah.
And Audi recognized that as well. Volkswagen recognized that as well. You go to Audi dealership, you know, there's coffee and bagels and you know, all types of stuff waiting for you. You know, as you come in, man, you get your car serviced.
Well, dude, the Porsche 911 looks the way it does for one reason and one reason only: the Porsche Car Club of America. The U.S. is by far the biggest market for the Porsche 911. So they were the reason that the 911 took so many decades to go from air cooled to water cooled, and they're the reason why the car, no matter what the technology is, that car basically looks the same way it did way back in the 60s when it came out. So they have to cater to the Porsche Car Club of America, and they treat them impeccably. Because those guys, they only buy the 911.
Yeah.
So, Sauchi, what's your take on the R8?
Oh man, much respect. Much respect. 4-wheel drive. Obviously, Audis. Audis is most people don't understand how Audis their 4-wheel drive technology, man, is underrated. I think most people don't even know like the legendary 4-wheel drive from Audi. I mean, obviously the engine. I mean, that's really where the Bugatti, well, at least the first Bugatti, got its engines from. Strong car. The new one, we'll see. I still like the V10, man. I understand. Everybody's going down and turbo and everything, but I mean, I like the V10, man. But
Well,
I'm feeling this.
I was just gonna say that Paul Bryant has a S4 with all-wheel drive, and he's out in the winter even when there's a snow emergency. Get off the road. Nope, I'm doing donuts, motherfucker.
Yep.
Yeah.
You throw snow tires on it, forget about it, man.
Yeah.
Paul Bryant, do you have snow tires? Do you have all seasons?
No, actually, I have winter tires and summer tires.
Okay, yeah, that's how I ride too. I got Michelin X Ice 3s for snow tires, and I have Michelin. No, I had Goodyear F1 Eagles on my for summer tires.
Yeah.
Well, I went German tires. So summer tires are the Continental Conti Contact Pro.
Okay.
Yeah, having driven this particular ride at the M1 track, I'm pretty much speechless, man. It was a little bit more impressive than my old Trans Am, I would say, just a little bit.
You had a Trans Am?
I still got one.
Trans Am? Wait.
Yeah.
Time out. Does it have a light in the front and does it talk to you too?
All black?
Yeah, I still got the
blacked out.
It's a triple X Manosphere.
Yeah. Yo, it's a majestic car, man. Something has to be said for having like that nice V8 naturally aspirated. The response time to not having to worry about building up any boost or anything to get that power. Yeah. Naturally aspirated. Steering, everything. Car was unbelievable.
Yeah. And it has all-wheel steering now, right? So now you're turning up, a completely different experience in terms of, from a track perspective. So.
Yeah.
Increased turning radius.
Have you guys talked about the Koenigsegg?
Oh.
I think we talked about that the last hangout, man.
Oh yeah, I missed it. Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on a lot of these cars. Hell, I guess for the next one, man, I want to touch on the Brabham BT62.
All right.
Another sexy beast. Sexy.
Oh, yeah. Yep, about to see that one on the... Well, I think it's actually first year on the track was this year.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mike, I got a chance to ride that Vanderhall Speedster. You might want to Google that if you ain't familiar with
it. The three-wheel... Yeah. Those things look pretty gnarly, dude. I like those.
It's a lot of power.
Yeah.
A lot of very torquey. Super light, it's like 1,300 pounds. It uses Paul's favorite powertrain. It's the GM.
Yeah, right. Right. Never in this lifetime, buddy. Never in this time, buddy.
I like how they look, though. Because you have
German
like
flat plane crank.
You have all the like the slingshots and some of those other three-wheel like trike inspired vehicles, but the one you were talking about, I saw those. There's a Yamaha dealer close by that has those in them, and I like the styling of them, man. Matter of fact, I think what's his name, Jamie Foxx. He's everybody kind of they're kind of getting big, like because he's got one. Yeah.
Yeah. The Speedster is the limited one-seater model that's got the side tonneau cover. It looks almost kind of like a modern day Morgan.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty sweet.
Dude,
Oh
the
snap! McLaren.
McLaren Senna,
Oh, man.
to me, the McLaren Senna is a hideous looking
Okay,
troll.
I
you
agree.
know what, dude? I've really been trying to like that car.
You can't.
It just looks ugly.
It
Yeah.
is a hideous troll. I understand the aero, I understand the performance, I get it. But that thing is a hideous troll. And to name it after Ayrton Senna is almost blasphemous.
He's
But I
rolling
get
in his grave, man.
Yeah, he
I
is.
don't think I don't think he would have agreed to put his name on that car. I mean, look, you know, technical specifications and everything. I get it. It doesn't look good. It really doesn't.
No.
I mean, Ayrton Senna helped R&D the Acura NSX.
Yep.
He worked on that with them for 3.5 years. He helped R&D that car. So to put his name on this monstrosity,
Yeah. They should have put it on the P1, man.
Yeah. Now
Yeah. Yep.
Man.
I agree there.
Ooh.
But you know, Paul, I was watching earlier today, man. I was watching Senna and Mansell battles.
Okay.
I was watching those earlier. It's funny. We start talking about Ayrton Senna. I was watching because Nigel Mansell is probably like my all-time favorite F1 driver.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it was just watching Mansell kind of like bully Senna around, dude. I was just like, man, y'all need to give my boy Nigel Mansell more props, dude.
Dude, Nigel Mansell. I don't know why he doesn't get the same respect, but Nigel Mansell was a hell of a driver.
Because he was a poor boy, you know, from rural UK. That's what he was. He wrenched on his own stuff and he worked his way all the way on up through. And then he was unapologetic once he got to the big stage, man. He took it. He took whatever was left there.
Bro, now you're talking about you were watching Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell battle. It's funny because earlier, I was watching Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. And dude, I have zero respect for Alain Prost. I've never liked him. And every time I watched that race, where one, Prost tried to take him out. And then when that didn't work, that scumbag went to the race stewards to have Ayrton Senna's win disqualified so he could win the points championship. D-bag.
Yep.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you, Senna. I was watching clips. Same thing with Senna, man. He was a bit of a d-bag to Mansell.
Yeah, he was.
Taking him out. You know, he conveniently took him out on a couple races and stuff. Like I said, Mansell was just a dude. He's one of those dirty Brits. Well, not a dirty Brit, but he was just a blue collar Brit. Yeah. He wasn't gonna take no shit from some rich Brazilian. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Hey, Triple X, what was the car that you were talking about?
The Vanderhall Speedster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you want to do a share on it or something for the rest of the guys.
I like them. I like those.
Yeah. I was really, really impressed with it. Very torquey, a lot of power, GM reliability. You know.
Until it starts to eat the fuel pump or the starter or the alternator or the fuel sending unit or the gauge cluster.
What is this? This is a Ecotech.
Yeah.
It's an Ecotech, turbocharged Ecotech motor. Okay.
Yep. Turbocharged Ecotech motor. Yep.
Damn, how much does that thing weigh, man? That thing looks
1,300 pounds.
That's what I mean. It's a turbocharged. Yeah.
1,300 pounds?
Yeah.
So you're telling me this thing is only 100 pounds heavier than a Formula One car?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. It's about 400 pounds lighter than the Polaris Slingshot, and they got a tune out for it. Bad News Racing does, and it adds like 100 foot-pound of torque for like $1,000 to that.
I don't know if I trust putting my money behind a name called Bad News. Something about that just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That's funny. Yeah, the opinion's been good on it so far, but yeah, good point on that, Mike B. Yeah, pretty impressive toy though, for sure.
No, I've seen them. I've seen them up close, man. I like them.
Definitely. I'm sure it'd be better with a German engine.
Hey, man, somebody needs to start doing engine swaps for them, man.
Yeah, then it would be about 70,000 though. So never mind.
At that point, you might as well just put an electric motor in there.
I was gonna say that's what I would do. I'd do an EV conversion on this thing.
Yeah, they got an electric one. If Mike goes back to the site, I can.
They have an electric version of this?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, they do. Hey, yeah, Mike, go back to the site, man.
What?
An electric version? Wow. Because AMG motors start at like 50 grand for just the motor.
Just the motor. Yeah.
Just the motor.
Yeah, scroll down to Edison right there. Yep.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah.
Edison, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Edison. Okay.
What's the let's see here. Not too bad. Okay. 30 kilowatt battery. Where's the torque? 180 horsepower electric motor. Let's see here. 0 to 60, 4 seconds. 60 miles per hour, dude. 100 feet. Jesus.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that too, man. The braking on that thing, unbelievable. The best. Some apps very at the top. Some of the best brakes I've ever experienced, man.
On the electric version, or you just mean on the Vanderhall?
The gas version. I haven't drove the electric one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the
brakes. Unbelievable.
That isn't bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad for that. Oh,
look at it.
Did it show the curb weight at all? Or?
Yeah, 14 pounds. It shows it right there.
Yeah, right. There it is. Yeah,
1400.
So
same way as the other one.
Is that 4.6 on the front? Wow. Let
me type my
that's
name.
Nice. Oh. That is nice.
Hey, Paul, you do know this is American made, right? I'm giving you 10 to back out now.
I think it's time for me to pay a visit to the AMG factory.
Man.
Well, I mean, you would fit what, the 4-cylinder, or what is it, the A
from the A, yeah.
That's not an AMG motor. That's a Mercedes motor.
That's just, yeah.
All AMG motors are either the V8 twin turbo or the V12 twin turbo.
So V6 too, right?
Nope,
not AMG.
That's a Mercedes motor.
Yeah.
It's in an AMG car, yes, but that's not an AMG motor. That's a Mercedes motor.
Okay. Maybe Brabus tuned.
Oh, Brabus. You know what? Bratwurst.
Come on down.
I mean, this is cool. My only problem, man, is that like 35 grand?
Yeah.
I don't know. 35 grand.
That's too much. The gas one was about 26, I think, which is a lot more realistic in my opinion. But yeah, the electric one's pretty cool. But yeah, that's a lot of money.
I mean, when you compare that to $20,000 motorcycle that these 1,000cc bikes are nowadays, it's not that bad.
Well, I mean, but if you're paying 20 grand for something like an MV Agusta, for example, okay, that's a goddamn track beast. You know what you're buying.
Oh yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? Like this. I'm literally looking at this, and I just basically see people like kind of cruising around the streets of LA a little bit. I don't really see much practicality in it for the price. I guess that's the thing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, I mean, dude, I'm an EV nut, right? That's all. I'm an EV guy. I mean, I'm just looking at the price. I like the Vanderhall, but I'm looking at this like, okay, 34 is what it's showing as the price. But then when you add up everything else that I would be walking out of the dealership with for this thing, I'm easily going over 40. Yeah, I'm easily going over 40. Now I have to really look at, is this, I mean, like I think it was either Salshi, it was either you or Triple X said this kind of looks like a Morgan.
Yeah, it's like a Morgan almost, but
I may as well go get a Morgan.
The front end,
yeah. It's a
and
different strokes for different folks type of vehicle for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it looks. I like it.
I like it. I like it too. I do. I mean, would you pay
that price though?
That's what I mean. I was going to ask you, Salshi, would you pay the money for this? That's the question.
Nah, man. Honestly, for that, I mean, I'm looking at like a special European motorcycle. Personally,
yeah.
Well, I think the motorcycle experience is a little bit different. You're kind of sitting low to the ground in this. I would probably say that the closest thing to this would be that that Atom.
Yeah, Slingshot.
The Ariel Atom, the track car, dude.
Not even close, Mike. I would say the closest thing to this would be a KTM. The Ariel Atom is a track beast.
Yeah,
this is not a track beast. This is like the K. This is like the KTM. This is
it depends on which track you're referring to.
Well, we're not talking weave tracks.
Oh damn!
From here. Yeah. The crossbow. That's what you're talking about. Yeah.
The crossbow. Yeah.
But they don't sell those in the United States though.
Nope.
There's something else that they sell. Damn. Because I've seen one on my way to the gym. It looks a lot like it. Shucks. It has 3 wheels, and it's
slingshot.
Could it be a slingshot?
Yeah, Polaris slingshot.
It's a Polaris.
It might be that. All I know is it has 3 wheels.
It's probably the slingshot.
Okay,
then.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, slingshot is a lot cheaper, but go ahead, Complex.
Oh no, I was gonna say because Andy's asking a question in chat. He said, "What do we think about Neo?" Neo makes some real interesting electric cars. I would like to see their EVs come to the market. I would also like to see the EP9, that insane electric car that drives itself that they have. I would like to see that run in WEC in 2020.
Maybe it will.
I would really like to see it. Yep.
Yeah. The new hypercar class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm saying I'd like to see Neo put the car in there. Neo. They're in Formula E. I forgot what the team that they're the team banner that they're racing under. I don't think it's Tech Cheetah.
No.
No, it's not Tech Cheetah. There's another team, and Neo's actually behind them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So they're Neo's around, and I really do like what they've got going on, man. I just want to see them make more of a presence, but it's going to be a slow rollout as far as the Chinese like really starting to make a showing in like international motorsport. They have the Lincoln Co. It's a brand that's owned by Geely. It's basically they're transitioning Volvo into this. Okay, into Lincoln Co. They have a car that's running in the WTCR right now. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of out to lunch on how it looks. The car does good on certain circuits, but you know, the Chinese are going to have to just kind of make their way into this. But they have the electric vehicle technology, man, that's on par with pretty much most manufacturers.
Now, is that their own in-house R&D, or is that stuff that they've reappropriated?
For the WTCR entries,
Yeah, the
they
Neo,
took
whatever.
what they did was, so Geely bought Volvo,
Okay.
and then they took all of the drivers that were racing under Volvo. So that was Yvonne Muller, Ted Bjork from Sweden, and then they got Yvonne's nephew. What's his name? Erla Shea. I'm trying to remember his first name. That's his last. I can't remember his name, but they got his nephew, and then they got like Andy Prio,
Okay.
the UK driver. And so what they did was they took the team from Polestar, and Polestar developed the Lincoln Code car into a race car. So the Volvo engineers, the Polestar Motorsport team, turned the Lincoln Code cars into that. So they bought Volvo, took the engineers from Polestar, and said, "Okay, look here, take this Chinese-produced car, work your Polestar magic with it." They even have it in the Volvo Blue and everything.
Oh, you know what? You made me think about something that I'm glad we're talking about right now, because Jos Verstappen was a pretty good F1 driver. He was very good friends with Michael Schumacher, one of Michael Schumacher's best friends.
Mm-hmm.
His son Max, I'll give it to Max. Max Verstappen is a better driver than his father.
His dad was, yeah.
I think that Max is he's very aggressive, which I don't have a problem with. I think he's a little too aggressive when the situation does not call for it. But that kid has been groomed from day one to be the second coming. And he's done nothing. And he's won nothing. And the Hamilton haters hate Lewis Hamilton so much that they nitpick to find they create things to continue to hate Hamilton. To try to make Max Verstappen more than what he is.
They're trying
He's won nothing. He's done nothing. And
wait, he got the one race. He got the one win a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And even in the maneuver he put on Leclerc was questionable.
Yeah.
Okay. So he kind of had to steal the win a little bit. But there's no way in hell you're going to sit up here and make some sort of argument that Verstappen is actually the top driver. Like, it's like, okay, well, if you take Verstappen and you put him in a Mercedes, I'm like, look, if you took Verstappen and you put him in a Mercedes, he couldn't beat Valtteri. He couldn't even beat Ocon. He couldn't take out Esteban Ocon or Valtteri Bottas. Let's leave Lewis Hamilton out of the equation. He couldn't even fuck with the second and third ranked Mercedes drivers, let alone Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. The cars don't drive themselves.
They don't drive themselves, man.
They're not self-driving, not yet. They don't drive themselves. And Max Verstappen has done nothing. Granted, he is the youngest driver to ever win a Formula One race. Granted. But guess who was the youngest driver to win the Formula One World Drivers title? Lewis Hamilton.
I mean, that's a noble start. You're the youngest driver to win a race. Good job, old chap. Now get on with getting some few championships under your belt.
Yeah. So Lewis Hamilton is only the third man to win it 5 times. Yep. He's leading this year.
He's going to win it this year.
Yeah, he's going to win this year to make it 6. And Max Verstappen isn't even in title contention. Yep. But yet the haters keep saying that, oh, he's the best driver. Lewis has the best car. Put Max in Lewis's car. Really?
Beat Bottas. Beat Valtteri Bottas first, and then we'll talk.
How about that? How about that?
Yeah, beat VB and we'll talk. You can't even beat him.
They're just tired of seeing Mercedes coming at 1 and 2.
Well, they're tired of seeing Mercedes win because, truth be told, man, Mercedes has just been whooping everybody's ass for the last I don't know how many years. Dude. Yeah. Mercedes has been on top for a long time.
Yeah,
and on top of that, it's been Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes that's been on top.
Well,
Lewis, Formula One, and listen, I love Formula One. I've literally watched it from a little boy, but Formula One right now is not competitive. Now, I don't mind because it's my man Lewis Hamilton, but Dude, Formula E, which complex design got me into because I brushed it off. But
Really?
Formula E is much more competitive than
Yeah.
Formula One. It is better racing.
Really?
Because
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
at every race, every press conference, it starts off the same. So, um, Carlos, how do you think you're going to do this weekend? Kimmy, how do you think you're going to do this weekend? So, how do you guys plan to deal with the Mercedes 1-2 this weekend? I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. You already know.
It's about who's gonna race for third, basically.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What would you guys say has been the number one contributing, some of the main contributing factors for Mercedes being continued dominance in this department?
Look at their team, man. They are a machine, and they're consistent.
And they haven't had to deal with acquisitions, right? A lot of teams have like been bought out by new groups.
Yep.
Right, and then you have driver lineup changes.
Yep.
Then you have your teams and engineers change, and then and then it's like, okay, now you have this new outfit, and then for example, Racing Point. Racing Point was, I'm trying to remember the team. It used to be Force India, which used to be Jordan.
Right.
It used to be Eddie Jordan's old team.
Eddie Jordan. That's right.
Yeah. Right. So it's like it's like you have to have, dude, Silver Arrows has been the Silver Arrows for God knows how long.
So
there's continuity in that team, and there's continuity with the engineers at Mercedes, and they work together like clockwork.
Yeah.
Ferrari is the only other outfit that should be up to par, and I'm just not sure what Ferrari's problem is this year. I thought that they would have had it together. They have the driver lineup.
Yeah, they got Leclerc. Yep.
Right. So
they got Vettel, they got Leclerc. So it's like, what's going on?
They have Leclerc because
I was gonna say Vettel
Leclerc has proven that he's a better driver than Sebastian Vettel. In my opinion, Sebastian Vettel has lost it. He doesn't have it anymore. He's turning into the new Daniel Ricciardo. He just
you're gonna do that to Ricciardo?
He doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have the
pace. He's
in
a Renault, though. He's in a Renault.
I grant you, which is his fault, though. He should have stayed.
He should have stayed. That is true.
Stayed.
But you know, I read some on Autosport. It was like earlier in the season where, in all actuality, they're saying that like Renault really kind of lied to him about a lot of things, and then he got there, and then basically he's now kind of tasked with sort of like being the in-seat engineer for them. You know, where no,
got you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I was gonna say, because I don't think he's competitive, man. I don't think he would have taken a step back if he if he was sold to him, like, look, man, like next year's car, like let us show you the stat sheets on it, man. We're gonna be up there, and then the money's there. There's more team prominence. He is the featured driver for Renault. So in a lot of ways,
he was more competitive with Honda, man. With all the problems they had last season.
But what I'm saying is that another team steps up. They got a little bit more resources to throw your way, and it's not as if Renault has always been a back marker. I mean, shit, dude, they were winning with Nigel Mansell and Williams back in the day. Yeah, Renault's been formidable. So in Ricciardo's mind, he's like, you know what, this might be something, and then he went there and
Dude, so so Mercedes has excuse me, Mercedes has Toto Wolff. So any organization starts from the top and you work your way down. So he's a former DTM racer.
Yep.
So he has a racing background. He's Austrian, okay, so he has that Austrian-German thing, efficiency, production, logical, methodical, systematic approach to everything. So that filters down and throughout the entire team. So you have Lewis Hamilton, who is clearly and by a wide margin the best driver in the sport.
Yeah.
So when you have those two, plus at the end of the day, the end of the day, they have something that even Ferrari doesn't have. They have an unlimited pool of money to pull from.
Yep, you're right.
So
Yep.
when anytime they need money, they pick up the phone, they call Dr. Z, and he'll say, "Here's all the money that you need." So when you put all of that together, and as Complex said, consistency. It's the same team. There has been no turnover.
Yep.
Absolutely no turnover. Only in the number 2 driver. That's been the only turnover. So the team does well, and they have. So there's a saying: winning breeds success.
Yep.
So once you're used to winning, the entire culture around the team is, there's nothing but the best.
Yep.
That's it. So that culture pervades everything. Where you see, like, when every race weekend, every press conference is the third or fourth question is, how do you plan to deal with the Mercedes? How do you plan to deal with the Mercedes? How do you plan to fight Lewis Hamilton? So that beats you down.
Well, you would have to outpace them. You would have to at least start second to maybe have a chance.
That means that you have to. That means that let's take Lewis Hamilton off the table. That means you have to beat out Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one, because if you look at this entire season, Mercedes has won every race except one.
Yep.
So it's been Hamilton. Both, I think, has won 1 or 2, and Mercedes has finished 1-2 except for what, 2 races this season.
Yep.
Where they were 1-3. So, and then of course the race the last weekend where they were just out of it. So the consistency is there, and like Complex said, beat Bottas. People can't even do that.
Yeah.
So forget Lewis Hamilton. Beat Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, because Valtteri has he has his work cut out for him trying to beat his teammate.
Yeah.
Right. And Valtteri Bottas is number 2 in the championship right now.
Yep.
Max Verstappen is nowhere near.
No, he's nowhere. How are you the best driver in F1, dude?
Dude, I don't get that. And if you look at Lewis Hamilton's career, he starts off slow, and in the middle of the season, he'll literally run off 4 or 5 or 6 wins straight, and he finishes up strong.
Yeah.
And he's doing that right now.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And ignore any talk about him going to Ferrari at some point. Bullshit.
What?
That's not happening.
No, that's not happening. No.
That was the talk during the all season, that he's going to leave Mercedes and he's going to run for Ferrari, because in order to cement his status as the greatest ever, he has to beat Schumacher's record driving a Ferrari like Schumacher did. Well, bro, that's never going to happen.
You don't need that.
No, not only that, but you're going to see Lewis Hamilton basically move from F1 to like DTM, or he'll either move to DTM, or if Mercedes then decides that it wants to get back into like sports car or endurance challenge, guess where he's going? He's going to be with Mercedes one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
And he has come out and said Formula One isn't as fun for him as it used to be, and he wants to just get back to the pure joy of racing. Yeah. So what better than a new challenge after he wins his,
after he gets this number 8? What do you
exactly?
Number 8.
Yeah. Number 8. How old is he? 32, 33?
34, I believe.
34 now. He's still.
He's got a good 8-9 years.
I mean, he's gonna get 8.
He's gonna get 8, bro.
I'm gonna be conservative and say he has about 5 more years at his prime.
Well, but in that 5 years, he's gonna get 8, and then it's off to, like I said, he's gonna do what Fernando Alonso did. I don't think he'll try Indy, but he's gonna do WEC. He'll do sports car or something like that. He'll do prototypes or something.
And the next name that grinds my gears, Fernando Alonso. He was great early on. What has he done since he won his 2 world drivers titles? Absolutely nothing.
Oh, you mean when Hamilton ran him out of F1?
Dude, thank you. And people still say that he was one of the greatest drivers, and he's still the best driver in F1. He didn't have the car that Lewis had, so he was still the better driver. I'm like, dude.
What about when they were teammates?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
We forget that.
Dude, Lewis Hamilton gets so much hate. So much hate.
Look, he does. Basically, what it is, it's been a run of Lewis Hamilton running shit, and then in between the time that he's run shit, everybody else got their chance to get something. So what? I think Kimi Räikkönen snatched a championship during Lewis Hamilton's F1 reign. Right. Jenson Button, I think he got one, and I think Fernando Alonso got two, and the remainder have been Lewis Hamilton.
I think it's his braids. That's what I think it is. To like his braids. So,
dude, it's because he's black. Let's call it spade.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what it is, man. It's the brother. That's the problem.
That's because he's black.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It might go down as the GOAT, man.
Oh man, there's a lot of people.
He has to break Schumacher's record, and I love Michael Schumacher. Don't get me wrong, I love Michael Schumacher, but he has to break the record. 7 is not good enough. Yeah. He has to get 8 because then you can't say. I mean, the haters will still hate,
of course,
but you can't argue with 8.
I don't want to hear shit about Verstappen being the best until you eclipse 8 championships. Forget your little rinky-dink win as your youngest driver to get a win.
I don't even think he's better than Leclerc. Personally, that's me.
He's not.
I don't think
he's not.
Look, he couldn't be. Dude, he couldn't beat him. Like he wouldn't even be. Both of them came because Paul knows, dude. I'm a karting geek. So both of them came up in karting. I'll tell you right now, dude. Like Leclerc was handing everybody their ass just 3 years ago, running KZ2 karts. Did 1 year in F2, won there. Ferrari snatched him up. Verstappen, not so much, man. He ran CRG for a number of years, and then it was his dad and a couple of his rich buddies got him a Red Bull seat.
Right. Thank you.
Hey guys, we're 20 minutes over the hour.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's go and cut it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you want to keep it going. You can just log in and shut it down, or you guys want to shut it down now.
Oh man, I got my little one here, man. I need to go ahead and call it a night myself.
Yeah, I will jump off, gentlemen. It has been a pleasure.
Yep.
Travel safe.
All right, Paul.
Yeah.